Relevant. It's a word we use constantly, right?
Yeah.
But have you ever really stopped to think about what makes something feel relevant?
Exactly. What's that core thing that makes information just click
Yeah.
as important?
Yeah. So that's what we're doing today. We're diving deep based on some notes we have, looking at the word relevant itself, its history, its meaning.
Mm-hmm. The goal is really to unpack what makes something truly relevant and, well, why that even matters.
Okay, let's get into it. Where do we start? The roots.
Yeah, let's start there. It's pretty fascinating. Relevant traces back to Latin, to the word relevare,
Relevare, okay.
and initially it actually meant something like to lighten or to raise up.
Huh. Lighten. Or raise up. That seems kind of far from how we use relevant now. How does lifting something make it important to, say, a discussion?
Well, it evolved. From relevare came relevans, which meant something closer, like bearing up on or pertinent to.
Ah, okay. That's starting to connect.
Think of it like this. When you raise something up, you make it stand out, right? You bring it forward. So the idea shifted from physically lifting to conceptually raising something to a level where it matters for what you're considering.
Bringing it into focus. I like that.
And if you break down relevare itself, re means again or back, and levare is to lift or raise.
So like lifting it back into view or
Yeah.
back into consideration.
Exactly. Something being brought up, brought forward because it matters.
That makes a lot more sense now. Okay, so let's look at the definition we usually use today. The adjective. Closely connected or appropriate to what is being done or considered.
Right. And notice those two key parts, closely connected and appropriate. It's not just one or the other.
Yeah, it needs both that link and that sort of suitability for the situation.
Precisely. It acts like a filter, doesn't it? Helping us zero in on what's actually important in a given context, cutting out the noise.
Okay, let's talk nuances. Synonyms often trip people up. What about appropriate versus relevant? They feel related.
They do, but there's a key difference. Appropriate is more about suitability, fitting the circumstances, like wearing shorts to a formal wedding. That's inappropriate.
Right, doesn't fit.
But discussing, say, the catering choices for that wedding is relevant to planning it. Relevance is about the connection to the topic. Appropriateness is about fitting the social or situational rules.
Got it. So appropriateness is about fitting in. Relevance is about sticking to the point. What about pertinent? That feels almost identical to relevant.
It's very close, often interchangeable. Pertinent also means directly related to the matter. I'd say pertinent sometimes feels a bit more formal, maybe.
Yeah, I could see that. Like you might see pertinent details in a report more often than relevant details. They'll both work.
Exactly. It's a subtle difference, maybe tone. But then there's related. This is a big one. Related versus relevant.
Ah, yes. Things can definitely be related without being relevant at all.
Yeah.
I feel like I run into this constantly.
Totally. Related just means there's some kind of link, even a very weak one. Relevant, though, implies the connection is meaningful, important right now, for this specific purpose.
Give me an example.
Okay. Imagine you're deciding what movie to watch tonight. The fact that your cousin visited last week is technically related to your life, but is it relevant to choosing between a comedy and a sci-fi movie? Probably not.
Right, unless your cousin recommended one of them, maybe. Context is everything.
Context is king for relevance, absolutely.
Okay, our source has some everyday examples, like that comment wasn't relevant to the discussion. We've all been there, right?
Oh, yeah. Sitting in a meeting thinking, interesting story, but how does this help us decide on the budget? That's the feeling of irrelevant.
Exactly. Then there's include only the most relevant details in your summary.
That shows relevance as a tool for clarity, focusing on what matters, cutting the fluff. Essential for good communication.
And her skills are highly relevant to this position. Super clear, direct link between abilities and job requirements.
Yeah, suitability and connection again. And the last one. Is this book still relevant in today's world?
Ooh, that's a good one. It shows relevance isn't static. It can change. Something was relevant, maybe isn't now.
Exactly. Time and context shift. And we see this on a bigger scale, too, like in news headlines.
Right, like documents deemed relevant to the investigation. Here, relevance means crucial, potentially game-changing information.
Absolutely. Or experts debate whether the law is still relevant. Same idea as the book, Does this rule still connect appropriately to how society works now?
That question of connection over time.
And finally, data no longer relevant due to recent changes. This directly points out how new information or shifting circumstances can make old facts lose their connection, lose their usefulness.
Okay, so wrapping this up. Relevance really boils down to having a meaningful connection and being appropriate for whatever specific thing we're talking about or doing.
And it comes from that idea of lifting up, bringing something into focus because it bears directly on the matter at hand.
It's quite a journey for one word.
It is, and it leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? For you listening.
Yeah.
Consider all the information hitting you today. Emails, news, conversations. What rules, what maybe unconscious filters are you using to decide what's actually relevant to you in any given moment?
That's a deep question. What makes something rise to the top for your attention? Worth thinking about.